What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs. I'm Dylan. They just got punched in the mouth. They didn't even know how to react.
That is one Derby Diamond.
I'm Mila. Do we want to do a little predicky? That was the last time they showed initiative to go get a fucking player.
He's still alive here. Balotelli. Aguero.
I'm Grant. They're talking a lot about you 15. How will you respond 15? We downgraded from Peppa. Do you know how absurd that is?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs. This is episode 67 or 67. Got to get my one trying to be a cool hipster joke in because this is a happy episode and I'm going to be happy because Mr. Mila's team picked up 3 points. Garnt's team picked up 3 points. And United picked up 3 points against Liverpool. And we'll get into all of that in just a moment. But before that, plug 72 subscribers as of today. Look at us going up and away. So thank you guys for being a part of the journey. We are on all socials and obviously on YouTube and Spotify. So like, comment, share, and subscribe to all that fun jazz. But let's get into today's episode. I said that the predicky counter was going to go up for all of us. And it did. It did. Everybody except for Grant got 3 correct scores. Or 3 correct results, but all of them went up. And out of the 13 total matches that we've done predickies, we are now up to a better hit rate from the entire group. But the most important part, Mila, and if you noticed, for 2 people, the number of predickies went from 1 to 2. That was me and you. Grant, you still suck. Yeah. Sorry, my camera's over here. I'm looking at you guys over here, and I fist bumped. So I take an L on that. But I look, I can't believe that it happened. It's funny that the predickies that we got correct was me predicting City correctly and Mila predicting United correctly. I should have had 2 predickies if we're being honest. Before fucking
No.
We screwed me.
We should have had one with City. Colin did not know that happened. That was bull. I was pissed. If we went back and looked,
did get robbed. I'm not gonna lie.
What did we call? What did they call? Oh, bro, it was so tough. Like now you want to start. I was upset with that, Dylan. So that's why I tried.
It's okay. What's important is Mila turned his correct results from 1 to 4, and you changed yours from 3 to 5. So we're as a group, we're not doing as bad as we were.
Slippery slope for me, bro. I'm.
No. It's okay. You're gonna get a predicky. It's probably gonna happen at the end of this one. I believe it. Alrighty, Grant. Chelsea beat Forest at the weekend 3-0. Your 5 things.
Man, I feel like this was one of those tales of 2 halves, like to end all tales of 2 halves. But all encompassing, I'd say the first thing was in Josh we trust. A lot of propaganda from me over our time on this podcast. Kind of feel like at one of the valleys of my propaganda is when he got his chance right against Liverpool. Had a great performance, good showing, and I think he did the same here. A weird trend of like defenders having to score goals to get recognition, but I think regardless, we're really starting to see a breakthrough from him. I'd love to see him stay in the team. I thought he looked really comfortable. Again, there were a few mistakes. I think that comes with the territory. He's a teenager. But all things considered, what a talent, and I really hope he continues to get a run in the team. Second thing I learned, I feel so safe with Caicedo in the middle. I love Lavia. I feel like we've all kind of heaped praise on him, even though we've seen limited time of him on the pitch. But it's just something different with Caicedo out there. I think maybe it's because Lavia is still nursing injuries or just seems fragile, so he can't really go into challenges or cover ground the way Caicedo does. But it's just something different with Caicedo in there. I don't even feel like he was really on the ball too much in the second half. He didn't really make too many mind-blowing challenges, but literally his presence just changes dynamics in the middle. They overloaded us in the first half. We couldn't really cope. And then as soon as he's in there, it's a different story. Third thing we learned, kind of back onto those halftime changes. João Pedro against these low blocks, these back fives as the 9, it's not working. We've always kind of questioned what's his best position. He's kind of one of those forwards. But I think it was night and day for me, first half, second half. Gui wasn't mentioned in any of my 5 things, but I think his cameo was really promising. And part of that is opening up the space for João Pedro to operate. And again, just night and day in the second half, his performance. So something we definitely learned. Fourth thing, Pedro Neto, I feel like I don't really talk about him too much. The best way I can really sum it up is it ain't much, but it's honest work. Or like, I don't think he was brought in to be this, but given our winger personnel, he is our winger we're relying on the most because it's Gittins, Garnacho, Estevao, Neto. Those are our winger options. And 3 of those guys, they're brand new. So it's on you, Pedro. Again, I don't think this is what he was brought in to do, but this is the situation we've put ourselves in. And I think he stepped up big time in the second half. As much as we love praising hard work and work rate, defensive contribution, we paid £60 million, and I believe he scored 4 Premier League goals. I don't think he was particularly awful last season. I don't think he was elite, right? Okay, it's his first year. So it's his second year. He's our most experienced winger, and I think he's going to have to do a lot more lifting than he should have been asked to do, but let's see it. And then 5th thing I learned, if it weren't for a few hamstring injuries, I think we'd just be seeing an otherworldly talent in Reece James. It's really sad. Me and Mila had good combo on that, though. I mean, just the ability this guy has, I can't really even wrap my head around just what he's capable of. It's just such a shame we've been robbed of a lot of his developmental years, but he's still only 25 years old. We're starting to see him. I feel like he looks better physically, just the way he moves. I'm not as worried about him sprinting. Looks a little leaner. So fills me with a lot of optimism that it's been almost a year since we've had an injury issue with Reece. And long may it continue. I only think it gets better from here in terms of him. I can pick a lot of different adjectives, but he's otherworldly, man. He's unbelievable. So I just hope we can continue to see him in our biggest games starting, captaining the team. And I think not just his development on the field, but I think he has really grown into the captaincy. He's always kind of been a shyer character and then completely rebuilt our team and everyone was gone. So he kind of ended up being the captain. I always felt like that kind of was coming in his career, but definitely earlier than I expected. And I think even last year we heard the manager call out the leadership saying we need more there. And I think he's absolutely stepped up to the plate. Definitely easier when you're playing consistently. But it's really cool to see the growth there. That's a lot of this project is seeing these guys grow. We're banking on a lot of it. And it's not just the young guys, the Estevaos, the Paez, all the wonder kids. It's a lot of the guys within. I think we saw a lot of growth from Colwell last year as a leader. And then this year with Reece, we're really starting to see him grow into that role, really comfortable there. So one more time, long may it continue.
Alrighty, Mila, what were your thoughts on the match?
To put it easily, Chelsea got their act together as the game went on, but that could have easily been very bad. And I think all of us had the expectation that they'd will through and win the game, but we all knew there was a chance that Nottingham could go out there and get something done. Yeah, in terms of the game, Chelsea's back line was just giving up a lot of chances, I think. Easy ones that they did not need to give away. Like Grant was talking about, Achimpong had one or two, just like little bouncing passes. And I think the same could be said by for Chiloba. I think Lavia had one too, right?
Yeah, he
Overall.
stepped over a pass from Achimpong. Yeah, they were all just self-inflicted errors. I mean, it was really tough. I think within 20 minutes, they had maybe 4 pretty decent chances, all from us just giving them the ball. I think I saw a quote pregame that we were expecting a 4 in the back. I think that's kind of crazy, but very clearly we had the wrong game plan. Our best chances were like right at the end of the half. João Pedro dropping deep, Santos running into the space, and it was him both times on the end of it. Decent efforts, missed both of them. I mean, there was really not much in that first half at all. And again, people are getting on Garnacho a lot. This is exactly what I expected. We paid $35 million for this winger. One game really good, one game not so good. I'm not expecting just every game 8 out of 10 performances. So I don't really think there's much to say on that front. Again, Lavia, he's getting nursed back to full fitness, but yeah, definitely a disappointing showing from him. Gusto was absolutely shambolic from the start. I feel
Yeah.
again he's out of
Definitely bad.
position. I think
You're being asked to
in
do a
that
lot.
midfield, when he was playing in the midfield against Liverpool, was a much different ask of him. We really just cover ground, man to man pressing, do a job, put in a shift. You're not going to be on the ball. You can't do that against Nottingham Forest playing a 5-back, and we got exposed for it. Even at the end, just the red card again. Each challenge was dumber than the first, and I mean 3-0 up, going in like that, just really stupid. I don't know what can be going through your head to think you had to go to ground there. Just silly. Only other negatives, I mean, again, he's being asked to do an impossible job. I do feel bad, but Chalaba on that left-hand side, it is an absolute dead zone when we're building up. He has no options. The only time he tried to play a ball inside, almost gave away a goal early on. So from that point on, it was just back to Bob, who had a fantastic game again. Robert Sanchez has been fantastic. He had a red card against United, but really, other than that, it's been a clean CV from him.
Yeah.
So fantastic. I really am. I can't believe it. But the second half subs changed the game. It had to be done. We were absolutely horrific in the first half. And from the jump, it was a fresh start, brand new team. I think Guiu very clearly is a raw player, but I love where his head's at. I think just the runs he makes, the attention, he drags defenders out of the way. Like Achampong has a free header because Guiu goes and attacks it. Murillo tries to mark him and leaves Achampong wide open. It's like little things like that. I think it made a world of difference for us. Gittins looked a lot more confident when he came on. Got a little bit of Esteval, but again, as soon as he comes on, I think someone just like is mandated to get a red card. I don't know what it is. He can't get a clean cameo without someone getting sent off. But what are you gonna do?
Those
It's
were
not too much to
just
take from it. I mean,
stupid.
it's just frustrating first half, but
Yeah.
You won the game
professional
3-0.
second half performance. Move on. Yep.
Yeah,
Everyone except for Gusto had a professional game.
yeah. I think it just all the stuff that you've kind of hinted at is just the idea of Chelsea have created this project that is built on depth, or the idea of young depth, and that comes in a variety of different ways. You play that game against City, you lose by 4. You play that game
Yep.
against a Forest side that's struggling, you win by 3. And that's the point, though. Like in matches like this, the matches that shouldn't matter as much in terms of opposition, you should be able to go out and perform, play at least a professional enough game, and see out a victory. And that's what Chelsea did. I wouldn't say there's warning signs necessarily, but the thing that concerns me at least the most in terms of just the overall squad makeup is the red cards. And it's not because you guys are getting red cards in like late in matches. Like that doesn't matter in a match to match thing. It matters in the long run of like you're playing young players. They are super inexperienced and they don't really know when to just see out a match or not get a red card. Like it's always been
Can
unnecessary.
we
The only
call
one that
Gusto
hasn't
a
been.
young player anymore?
Who?
What is he? 23?
Gusto? Like
Gusto's
he's
like,
been,
dude, Gusto's 22.
but he's
Like
been around enough to know
he's
not
a
to do
young
that,
player.
you know? Like
No,
it
but
wasn't
even this squad, like
Yeah, there's no excuse for it. I see what you're saying.
no, but like it's the idea of the big matches aspect. Like
Mhm.
none of these guys have big match experience. They might have Premier League experience, but like
Sure.
Chelsea are should be aiming for titles. Should be title challenging right now,
We
right?
played a final in New Jersey, Dylan. We have tons of big
No,
match experience.
right, right. But there was no like. I feel like that's the thing that is ultimately going to trip up Chelsea in this point in time is the depth that you're playing is super young, and so when you're asking depth of that quality or of that experience level in certain matches, certain moments to play above their belt, that's a hard ask. It's easier
There's
to ask
just more
an inexperienced
questions.
player to
There's
do it.
more questions in
Yeah.
simple terms. You're dead on with that. I saw some reports about our sporting directors almost running some sort of victory lap because it's like, oh, I told you we had food at home. It's like, I think that's horrific. I look a lot more at practice than the actual result and what plays out. And I think it was a really petulant window from those guys personally. And to what you're saying about this depth, if you bring in guys who we know, commodities, we have an expectation of them. When I bring them off the bench, they're a new signing, yes, but I have an understanding of what they do. They have a CV, they have a resume. None of these guys do. So I think Achapong's a great young player. He's been fantastic, wonderful. A lot of these guys, and I do not like picking on our own players, but Andre Santos, I think some guys might have expected more from him. They didn't watch any of it, but last year he captained Strasbourg. He had 10 league goals. So they immediately expected him to come in and take Enzo Fernandez out of our lineup, who has been a captain for a large majority of those appearances. That's not realistic. Like, we do not know how these guys are going to adapt. We don't know how long it's going to take. We don't know if their game is going to work in this exact system with these players in this league, all these variables. I think the whole point is we don't know. So yeah, it worked against Nottingham Forest, like you were saying, Dylan. How do we know this is going to work in Champions League knockout rounds, right? We don't. It might, and I sure hope it does. It did in New Jersey, it did in America, but we just don't know until we see more. So I really think that's to your point, for you concerning, for me, just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I like a
no, it
lot of
is.
these players, but that
It's a
does
big
not mean
question mark.
100% of the time they're going to put in a shift. Lavia wasn't good. I don't think he was going to play 90 minutes. He probably would have got a hooked at an hour if he was fantastic.
Right.
But again, wasn't a great performance from him. He's not going to be great every time. Most of these guys aren't. So I think that's something you have to continue to remember. But that's the situation we've put ourselves into. That's not something you can really complain about.
No, look, I think that you could play this two sides of the sword, right? Like, you leaned on your experienced players to go and get you this match after the depth got you 45 minutes worth of game time, right? Like, you weren't losing at half. That's a good enough excuse for me to say, like, the depth was tested and it ended up holding up. At least it's to a certain extent. And that's important. Like, you have to see out results here. Like, if you guys had gone under the knife here and you were down like 1 or 2-0, at halftime, where it could have been, then we are talking about this match in a different light. But you come away with 3 points. Reece James is your best player. Neto is right up there, right? Those are two of your most experienced players, and you have to lean on them in matches as well. So I can see it going both ways. I am leaning on concerning just because it's so early, but I'm not saying that it's impossible. It's just, can you guys get healthy enough for the depth to be a benefit and not
Yeah.
a crippling
We'd love
thing.
to see some guys come back at the end of the day, obviously. I mean, our two left-footed center backs, Batty Shields, out for at least 2 months again. Like, that's just a tough situation there. But we've had to adapt already. We don't have that left footer playing center back. We got to play a different way, right? Like, these are constant things you have to adjust to. But again, I think the whole point is I need to know what this depth can do, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the bench who didn't play, like Hato. Again, I really think he's a bright prospect. We haven't seen him play too much. So we don't really know what he can do yet. Things like that. Buonanotte, George. Oh, these might be names that aren't exciting. Well, they're on the team. They're on the bench. This is our reality. We need to see what these guys can do without, obviously, risking results. So we need to find out. We can't just hope and pray that everyone that's playing stays fit. It's just not going to happen.
It's not. But you guys are in a much better spot than
Absolutely.
the team that was across from you guys. And we got to talk about it because he's a fan favorite of ours.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Daishi is back at the wheel. Look, if you had told me that Daishi was going to take over from Nuno, I would have understood it right away.
Right.
Because that's just the style that they play. But not to say that I'm concerned. We already talked the last episode just about their project and how I haven't enjoyed the way that their ownership group has taken it. But I want to talk about just the manager in this spot with this team and how they can get results and how they can perform better than they currently have. So, Mila, with that in mind, what do you think about this appointment?
I think you nailed it. If they replaced Nuno, it would have made complete sense. The styles, just what he has at his disposal. But I think they held on to Nuno even though they knew that that relationship had deteriorated. And then you go and give his squad to Ange, who kind of just plays the opposite style of football to what the players he was offered are able to do and what they're used to. And then we're back here. It just seems like the safe move, but also like it's just a confusing situation overall, I think, because they were flying last season.
They were one win away
And
from
now,
Champions League.
yeah, and now we're in safe mode, which is like, okay, I get the hiring of Deitch for the situation you're in, but how did we let it get to this? If you're a Nottingham Forest fan, I'm sure you're wondering how did we get here in such a short period of time? And
Yeah,
fingers point to the owner, but
Mr. Marinakis.
it's crazy though. Like
it is crazy.
This is just blown up so quickly, and now we're actually
Incredibly
Deitch
fast. Yeah.
in a relegation battle.
Yeah,
I don't have much to say on this because once this guy gets a job for me, it's pretty clear where
like
they're
you're at
for the season.
battleships at the ready. Like you're
I
full
And if
on.
he does a little better, then he
I
does
might
a
be
little
a bit
better,
too
but
optimistic, Mila. I think
optimistic for what? What does that mean?
the appointment of Deitch. Obviously, I agree with your sentiment of as soon as Deitch comes in, you know what the job at hand is, right? Like we're concerned about getting relegated. We need to stay up. Forest are such a weird situation because they've pretty much rebuilt every transfer window. They just keep signing players where at least a few of them bring up a where are they going to play question. I don't think Deitch has he ever had this many tools in terms of firepower, modern Premier League, the amount of spending there is. I think especially Europa League, that can get really interesting. The Prem, maybe not so much, but they're still in Europa League. I think especially really any English team should have an advantage there in terms of assets, how much money they've spent. Surely they should have a decent enough team to compete, but I think Nottingham Forest, that might turn into, I wouldn't say priority, but especially if safety seems like not a problem, which I think Deitch would be able to do. I don't know. I think it could be a really interesting appointment. I don't think he's the guy to get you to the top of the mountain by any stretch, but I definitely like the appointment for sure.
Yeah, the squad is too talented to be a relegation team, and I think they won't be because of that. With
I
that
think
being
they have
said, Dyche is a
good players.
1.3 point per match manager. Like that's his level.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
They-
what
they-
talent's in front of him. This
Yeah.
this same talent is the Everton squad that Moyes took over, pretty much.
No,
Mm.
no, much different. He
Okay,
was
I'd
working with
argue they have
nothing at Everton.
No, but like in terms of this of the
Abdoulaye Doucouré was his top scorer, I think, at Everton at one point.
that
or
is
at
that
least
is
in
a,
that
no, but that's a sentiment to what Dyche does. That's his style of play. That's not
Oh
because
yeah,
he has
I agree.
players.
I do agree with that. Everton did not have much to work with. They brought in a lot of his guys, to be fair, but
Like, look,
Everton
I
were a very
just-
limited club at the time in terms of
the-
what they could get done financially.
Yeah, it's just I don't see them being a good team with him. I see them being a decent side, a side that is hard to play against, and that is a fall from grace from a team
So
that was
the
almost
ceiling would be like a 12th place finish
I
for
don't
you.
know.
Based on
No,
what do you think?
I don't think the ceiling is
Ceiling.
anywhere close to that. I don't
Okay,
think
what
it's
are you thinking?
I currently think it's like 16th.
Yeah.
Because
Ceiling. Wow.
I think that they are going to get ransacked in January. You don't have this type of turmoil in the players in the dressing room. Look, the questions that they're being asked, like Yates was asked,
Ryan Yates' interview was nuts.
Yeah, like that stuff doesn't sit well
Did he
with
even
players.
play
I
last
think
game?
No, he didn't even play.
no.
He just had to do the
No, he
interview.
just got ransacked. Yeah, and
He's the
That's
captain,
issue.
but-
Yeah, but
But
look
still,
at
he
the
didn't
makeup
play.
of this team.
He
I
had to
think
speak because he's the
all-
captain, right?
Ah,
Yeah,
so
he is
awful.
the captain, but all the people that played in his position all play a pretty similar position. That's what the squad is built up of. It's gonna
Luis,
work great
Sangare,
for what
Anderson
Deitch
all
wants to do,
starting.
but
yeah.
there's no attacking talent really in that squad to
I think they
fight
have.
with the rest of the league. I don't think so.
I
Not with
just
the
don't
people
know.
behind
I
it. There's
think
no
they're totally
creativity.
unproven. But like,
There's no
I mean, obviously
creativity.
they have Gibbs White. They spent a lot of money on Omari Hutchinson. They brought in Igor
Igor.
Jesus. Ndoye, he didn't even touch
And-
the field.
No, he's you know what they have some attacking
Who's
talent.
gonna make that goal for them? They got guys that can put the ball in the back of the net, I think. But who's gonna
Chris
make
Wood
Well, I
might
think
become
Deitch loves
viable
Chris
striker
Wood.
again. But like
That could be a
I-
possibility. I just
I
don't.
think that
I don't see how they're gonna go forward.
Hudson-Odoi.
we talked about how Forest last year was this like super pragmatic sit back counter, and they were
Yep.
just killing their XG numbers, right? And then once
Yeah,
that
yeah.
reverted back to the
Overperformed.
mean, once
Mhm.
that reverted back to the mean, it was game over. They
Yeah,
literally went on like 5 games losing. That's why Nuno was on the outs.
I think
Is this
Nuno.
team? Is the confidence there to even do that?
I do
No,
agree
I
with
don't
that,
think
Dylan. That was important to mention. I don't think this was a Champions League level team last year. I think it's very important to mention they were overperforming in a lot of games for probably 3/4 of the season, and
Yeah.
they regressed to the mean at the end. But realistically, I think where did they finish? 6th, 7th place. That's still very impressive. And again, all things considered, they probably overperformed last year. So realistically, the expectation, let's say they kept Nuno, there was no turmoil, whatever. They finished like 10th. Yeah, I can kind of understand that. So 16th might not be too bad of a shout when you look at it with all the context, but
Here, let me list
still
off
just
the
crazy
teams,
fall off.
and we'll get to where we think Forest kind of finish, and then we'll just
They're
end
on
the
their
discussion
third
there.
manager this year. I think that's all that needs to be said.
It's true. And it is
So
October.
let me just work
It's
from the bottom, and
October,
we can
yeah.
kind of gauge it there, right? Because
Sure.
I think I can make some pretty good opinions on certain teams right now towards the bottom, where I'm like they're going to be in that fight the whole time. So
Mhm.
Wolves, I think they're better than Wolves. I think they're better than West Ham. They're currently sitting in 18th. Then ahead of them is Burnley, Leeds, Fulham, Newcastle, Brentford. I don't
Yeah,
anticipate Newcastle
see why you
being
said
there.
16th. See why I said 16th.
I don't anticipate Fulham being there. I don't anticipate Brentford being in that race. So you're down to Leeds, Burnley, West Ham, Wolves, and them.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it, Dylan. I mean, I think Sunderland is a wild, a rogue shout to come back just because they're a newly
Sure.
promoted team, but I don't think they would come to this level. It's so early, though. A lot of things can change, but to your point, as it stands, I think 16th is a good shout considering
Jeez,
that's kind of the pack of teams they belong with so far.
Yeah.
Maybe even 17th, man.
currently
Yeah,
tied with
no, just as
Wolves
the ceiling. I see why you
for
said 16th.
Mhm. On paper, like you guys were saying, I think they
the
overperformed, and
talents
I think
there.
a lot of that could be Nuno just got the best out of them for that span of time. That
Definitely
purple
did.
patch. Like we were just saying, third manager this season, not even November yet. They could be on their fourth manager before the end of the year, not even the end of the season.
Yeah,
Dangerous.
So to
if the
expect
results don't
anything out
go
of this
right.
squad is crazy to me. 16th, I think, is me being generous to them. Ceiling. 16th.
Yeah.
Well,
I've
let it
got a
be known
feeling
I am higher on Forest than you guys.
hey, that's fine. I think Anderson's going to be gone in January, if I'm being completely honest with
Europa
you.
League quarterfinals.
January? I don't think so.
I think he goes in January because he's not going to be as
Who's gonna
expensive
buy
after
him?
the World Cup.
Gibbs White, definitely.
Gibbs White could be gone too.
Option.
United will buy Anderson if he's available for a decent fee.
Then they're definitely not getting 16.
180 million.
If
No.
those two go, then
I
done.
think his cap is 50, 60. I think you get that in January. I just don't know if you get that in if there's a chance to
Where did he
relegate.
go for? Because he was one of the PSR deals, so you also have to take that into account. I think
Yeah.
that alone inflates his next fee. I think he'd go
Not
especially in
if you're a
January.
shit club and your guys are asking out because
Yeah,
they have.
Murray
I think
Hutchinson
with
went
that
for
whole
40 in the championship. I just think it's a new market. That's just an
Championship
opinion, though.
costs more.
championship to,
This is why
I
people
think
don't
it's
buy from the championship.
I think that
I watched that video
Forest could
too.
be in trouble. Like Mila was saying, if they're on another manager, like players are it's going to be like the market.
It's a problem.
crashes.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
right.
It could now look, they could right the ship with him, and then we don't even have these conversations anymore, and they're back to
I don't think
10th.
When
I
it
don't
comes to teams that are not my own, I'm the joyful optimist. I think
the
I think it's gonna
situation is
work.
just
I
really
don't have
brutal.
much
I
It's
can't
horrific.
see it. I just
It's a
can't see
horrific
it.
situation.
Yeah.
It's the right man for the job.
Maybe.
All right. Maybe. Mila, your team played. They picked up 3
Oh,
points,
crap.
and
I gotta go grab my notes.
Holland scored. I think he scored twice. He did score
Yes, he
twice.
did.
He's
Grab
got to
his notes,
stop.
Dylan.
I think he should just stop scoring goals. Is my
You're
current
boring.
opinion on the on the take. I think he
Boo.
should stop doing that.
Boo.
Anyways, Mila, your 5 things from City versus Everton.
To switch it up a little bit, I decided to say Holland was wasteful, but it didn't matter. Instead of saying Holland good. I know that I sent you guys some quotes from Foden and Guardiola, just like nudging fun at him, that he needs to be a little more clinical in front of goal when he gets those chances. And I think that's like 80-20 a joke, 20% serious. Because yes, he's doing remarkable things. He's scoring at absurd rate, and it's something that we'll probably never see again in the Premier League. But that guy could have left the game with 5 goals. I know he's kicking himself too, just based off the player he is. So, yeah, wasteful. But won us the game with 2 goals. Is our basically only scorer this season, and is outscoring clubs in this league season so far. So can't really complain about much from him, but that he could be so much better than he is right now, and he's already the best in my eyes. Foden is adapting. And I think that's important for this team. He's starting to play this deeper role, which means he's going to have a bit less of that creative role to feed in Holland. It'll still be there, but less so of it, which I think is good. It helps, especially with Nico G playing so many minutes in that deeper midfield role. Someone like Foden that can help him there, alleviate the pressure, and kind of hold his hand as he learns the role is really good. Yeah, he was super important to our last game, and I think that was seen more so in the second half. But I'm definitely looking forward to see how he progresses. Doku and Savio are my third thing. They should not play together, and I know we talked about this on multiple occasions last year. It's ineffective. It's redundant, I think. They're two very similar players. They're guys that you want one-on-one with the outside back. Guys that you would probably bet more times than not that they're going to beat that defender. But to have the same thing on both sides where both of them are just going to beat a man and then be wasteful with the next decision. And we've seen Doku get better with that this year. But I think it's just not acceptable, especially the state we're at. And I know we're going to talk about it later. But Holland's the only one with goals. So it would have been nice. I think we could have definitely tried something different. Someone with a little more goal threat or just a different style of play on one of the wings to switch it up. And I think that's where Bernardo came in towards the end. Just hold up the ball a little bit, help out with that aspect, offer us something different. And then Bob came onto the right, obviously. Bernardo wasn't playing that winger, but it's just the roles of the players that we needed to bring in. Fourth, the competition for places is ramping up. And this was originally going to be O'Reilly propaganda, but we've talked about him enough, I think. He was just so good. He's been so good. And he continues to get better, and Pep continues to talk about how he's going to get better and better every game, along with Nico G. These are two players that I think stick out from my point. Their competition is Rodri and Aït-Nouri, two guys that pretty nailed on at the start of the season that we thought. And I don't think this is a bad thing. I think this is kind of where we want to be. This is kind of like the teams of old that we had, where we had players that would walk into other teams and start sitting on the bench just because the other guy competing for their spot is deserving of it off merit. And I want to see more of this, obviously. So it'll be good to see once Cherky starts to get more minutes, once Marmoush starts to get more minutes. We'll just have options all around the pitch. If someone's not stepping up on the day, then you switch him out and the other guy's ready to go because he's firing also. He's just waiting for his chance. And then the last thing, I already touched on it, but 2.0 stock continues to rise, and that's Nico G. He's just Rodri 2.0. I don't know if that's necessarily fair at this point, though, because just looking at his stats, you compare him to Caicedo, you compare him to Rodri, they're similar. Those two definitely do the defensive things of their game a lot better. But in terms of ball carrying, Nico G has been better. In terms of the not progressive passes, but the percentage completion of progressive passes. He's been better. And then he's just slightly behind in the defensive attributes with room to grow. Him and Caicedo are the same age, so it's not like the age is a big factor in that. But in terms of minutes and just experience in the game, I think Nico G has a lot of room to grow, a big ceiling, and can definitely be talked about in that Caicedo Rodri level, maybe if he gets those minutes. That's very dependent on if he takes the chance that he has right now with Rodri being out. Yeah.
Might have to throw that. We're going to talk about that in a sec because I don't know if I necessarily agree. Let's start with Holland, though, and being reliant on it. I just think that might be a good clip. It's an interesting idea. But the question is, Grant, it is bold, but that's all right. That's all right. I like
go straight for the boss. That's what I like.
Grant. So the question remains: is City too reliant on Erling Haaland?
It's a weird. I don't even want to call it a dilemma, but it's a weird situation, right? Because as the graphic shows, this is what his second worst start to a Premier League season. That's what the stat is, no? It's highlighting that this year it took him 8 games to get 10 goals. It's taken 5 and it's taken 6. What are we doing? Hurry up. So, like, it's so weird because I think Mila made a good point. Like, are we ever going to see this type of output? Hard to say. So, to over rely on it, yes, but he's an alien, right? When you get one of these sort of aliens, like, I don't know, I feel like you feed into it. But again, to rely on just one piece, and then if that's not clicking, you are in danger. So I guess, yes, they are too reliant on him, but at least it's him. Like, if there's any player to rely on, that's the right one, because I think that's what the game on the weekend was. It encapsulated that perfectly. I mean, almost an hour, there's nothing really going on, and let's just get a cross in. That'll work. Let's get another ball into him. He'll hit it first time. He'll put it away. It's just what he does, and I think the 80-20 split's generous, Mila. I think they're dead fucking serious, bro. Like, he could have had 6. That's the standard. That's the standard for this player. And I think he holds himself to that, and I think that's why he's going to continue to be as good as he is, going to continue to grow, get better. Yeah, it's fine. You'll be fine, but he can put away that many chances. I think he's fully capable. He's so good. So, I mean, yeah, they're over relying on him, but as long as he's fit, yes, feed him chances. It will pay off.
Yeah. Mila,
I think it's just.
Any thoughts?
I mean, no, I forgot what I was going to say earlier, but it's okay. With him though, I think we've built it around him. Obviously, that's what this rebuild has kind of been about the past couple of years, just building it around the guy, the talisman that's going to be there for the next 10 years. So it is that question of, when you're building around him, are you going to rely on him? Like, of course you're going to rely on him. That's the whole point of building the squad around one player. But we've seen this in multiple teams. I think a good example is probably towards the end of Messi at Barcelona, over-reliant, and that causes its own issues. So I think they should be relying on him, and it's great that he's scoring all these goals. But like I said, those other guys need to step it up. And I think that's where Marmoush is going to be huge. I know we've talked about it a couple times. Yeah. We just haven't really been able to see it. And it's not like he was playing that well before the injury. But I'm hoping he comes out and knows that he needs to start scoring goals, not just for him, but just for the team in general.
He's a goal scorer.
No, I think I kind of sit with both your guys' thoughts. When you have an alien, use the alien. Obviously, you don't want to be this reliant. It's very similar to the conversations that we had with Salah last season, where it was like he's got 60% of the goals. Haaland just has 90. Which is, look, that first goal, I rewatched it today. And that's some of the
Yes.
most intelligent striker movement I've ever witnessed in my entire life. Like playing in that position, like I wish I had the gravity to where I could pull a center back behind his fucking keeper. Like he's so good that Czarkowski literally ran behind Pickford because he thought that
He's all by
hauling
himself at the 6-yard box.
because it was literally one body feint pushing him into the 6-yard box, and he came back and headed a ball back here.
Vicious
into
header.
It's
perfect
it's I genuinely don't think I say it with certain players. I don't think we're ever going to see another Erling Haaland. It's just that apparent to me at this point. I
Odin
think that
Holland.
the Ibra and him comparisons are we're so similar at the very beginning just because of their size and their stature, but they're so different.
Gone. Yeah.
They're so
Closest
different.
thing we'll see is when we get back on pro clubs. There's nothing like this guy.
Right. There's
Nothing
only
like
one
this guy.
player, and he's on pro clubs. It's astonishing to me, and he's going to break potentially all sorts of records. And the thing that's honestly impressed me more, and the other two are a little more tainted stats, but it's the idea that he's scoring in every match. Like, yes, it's taken him 8, but it's been in every single match this season. Whereas those 5 and 6, he had hat tricks in like the first 2 matches.
That's the thing.
Boo.
Yeah. I think that's one of the big talking points is that he hasn't got a hat trick yet. He is statistically one of the easiest
To be
scorers
fair,
of hat tricks in Premier League history, and he hasn't gotten it yet. And Grant and I were begging him to get it on over the weekend. 1 for my bet, 2 for our predickies, and it just wasn't going into the back of the net.
like you said, he was wasteful.
Yeah,
when you're
happen.
when you're wasteful,
Yeah,
you still have
that's where he's at right now, and I think that's the crazy part is people think he's at a peak right now, and I think we're just getting started. I think he's not even reached that. This is what he should be at. This is the baseline to me. Is what should be producing on a week-to-week basis for Erling Haaland. And then when we see him have those purple patches, he will be scoring 4-5 goals a game, multiple games, in just a short period of time, because he's just this good.
He really is just that good.
He's 25 years old. He's 25 years old and is what on year. He's got like 8 more years on that contract after this
He
season.
can only jump higher for the next 5 years.
At least we know Chelsea wouldn't sign him right now. Too old.
Not yet, but July 21st, he's off the transfer list.
All right. It's time to revisit what Mila was saying because I just think that's a really good talking point, and it could be a good clip because that's interesting, and I want you to elaborate on why you think there's similarities in terms of what Nico G does compared to Rodri and Caicedo, who I consider both of those two as the best 6s in the entire world.
I mean, hold on while I pull this up and I can talk while I do it, but just look at our performances since Rodri's gone down this season. You don't
compared
really
to what,
question
last season?
that area of the field. Exactly. Last season, we're like, holy shit, Rodri's missing. This season, nothing. Not a word. And I think it's less so that Nico G has been phenomenal and that he's standing out, but more so that you're not worrying about the same things as last season, that he's just falling under the radar. It's just good performance after good performance. And that should be applauded, I think, with the little amount of minutes he's had, with how little time he's been here, and who he's replacing in the squad. I think he deserves a lot of applause.
Yeah, I think that can be true without comparing him to Caicedo. But again, I do think it's important. He's filling huge, giant shoes.
He can be as good as Caicedo if he keeps improving because he keeps
I feel like a lot of people, if we talk that way, can... I don't know. I just don't like it, but
all right.
To your point,
the role of a Ballon d'Or winner.
That's a very important contextual point. I think you also mentioned his lack of playing time. I think even more so his sort of state of the squad. There were rumors that he might already be going out on loan or something like that. So regardless of the validity of those, there was clearly he wasn't settled yet. So I do think it's definitely a fair point given whose shoes he's filling, his own situation in terms of game time moving in January. But yeah, I mean, do you give him most of that credit? Because I know Reinder's just kind of been in the midfield all year and they started slow and then picked it up. He's been there the whole time. Is it more of a collective effort? Because that's just how I see it from the outside.
I honestly think that the reason Reinders isn't being talked about as much in a negative view is that Nico G is cleaning up a lot of that. Reinders kind of can do this casual 7.0 game, get adjusted to the squad, and I think in a couple months' time we'll be talking about him like we originally thought. But I do think he's been a little shook by the league. In terms of Nico G, though, wait, can I share, or is it gonna mess things up, Dylan?
If it'll let you
You
share,
mess up
sure.
everything.
Boom. All right, can you guys see this?
No.
Crap,
Yeah, no.
Hold on.
that's
I got
not
it.
working. Oh, boom.
There you go.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Apologies.
this is super tiny. Boom.
There.
Boom.
Okay. So these are the
Finally
stats
see if I-
comparison. This is what I was trying to say, and I feel like the names I used might have just thrown you guys off a bit. I'm not saying
Yes.
he's Caicedo or Rodri. I'm
In
saying
these
that
aspects, you're saying.
in these aspects, he is doing the forward pass percentage better. He is doing the forward passes better. He is doing the carrying significantly better. And in the possession one, if you just look at the way City are playing, we're not really doing that. So in comparison to what he's doing with Rodri, he's doing it way better and not as good as Caicedo. Obviously, dual percentage. Caicedo and Rodri have that locked up in the bag, but he's not bad. And then progressive passes is the same. If he's doing less at a higher clip, I'm not really worried about that. And then in terms of key passes, he's in between Rodri and Caicedo. My thought is Caicedo is the more defensive option of these three. Therefore, his defensive shots should be better. Rodri, a little more run the tempo of the game, sitting in the center of the park and just doing everything. And then Nico G, we kind of don't know what he is yet. He's more of that 8 style, but he can still put in a role at these positions. And this is him with 487 minutes, probably 700 minutes total for the club in the Premier League.
Yeah.
With the added perception of Pep saying this guy's getting better every game. He's so easy.
Can we get Ugarte on this graph?
Yes, we can. Ugarte's probably going to be all defensive. No,
Just out of curiosity.
aggressive.
Because you're putting him straight with the big. Oh,
Yeah, all defensive.
that's why I don't love these graphs. Because like it's just nitpicky to me. But again, I do think it's important
You can
because
clearly
we're
see
trying
how
to
they
project.
play, though.
Because we're
You know how
that's
Ugarte
why
plays. You look at this
you're
graph
trying to
and it
project how a
perfectly-
guy's going to play and what he's going to do for you. So I do think it's important because I guess you tell me if I'm wrong, Mila. I think it's more about talking about their style of play instead of who's better. You're trying to say how can we replicate Rodri in the aggregate in simple terms?
I
versus,
never even said
this guy's better than
You're too fixated on the fact that I brought up Caicedo, I think. I didn't say he's better
and
than
Rodri
Caicedo.
too.
I
He won a
said-
Ballon d'Or. These
I
are
didn't say he's
huge
better
players.
than Rodri. And that's not what I said, though.
You're saying that the
I said in
potential
years'
gain
time,
could
if he
be.
plays, yes, he will be just as good as these guys. If he's a mainstay in our team, if Rodri moves on next summer, he goes to Madrid and Nico G is here for the next 4 years, he will be talked about in the same way that Rodri and Caicedo are talked about. Because he will be that good. He's not that good right now. He's 23 years old. He's the same age as Caicedo with significantly less minutes.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's just a lack of really knowing what I'm seeing here because look, Rodri played against Arsenal and against United, right? And so that's where I get a little more of like the cautious about what you're saying. Not to say, and also it's just like I don't really see him controlling games the way my eyes aren't focused on Nico G the way that it tends to get
Rodri
centered in
didn't
when
do
Rodri
that in that first
but
season, though.
for me, when like I was sure in the first season, but
And
when it
that's
was
where we're at right now,
evolving,
though. This is what I'm saying. Nico G's in his
But-
first season.
yeah, but
I think
the
I think
pipeline's
it's
still
fair.
different.
I respect it, Mila. You've
The
seen
pipeline-
enough
I
from
mean,
your own
Rodri's
player.
30.
You've watched him
Stacy
close, and you know what he's capable of, is what you're saying. And I respect that because again, I think me and Dylan are not watching him closely, right? We're saying, "Ooh, Foden's back in the team. Oh, Holland's scoring again," but I think you're watching him way closer than I am. If that's how you feel about the player and the
I've
talent
talked
level,
about
I'm all
him
for you backing your guy. I love
in the
it.
past 4-5 things learned, I think.
Yeah,
Along with
no.
Holland,
Yeah.
he's been a mainstay in all of those, and I think that's pretty telling about his impact in this squad right now.
My thing is I just think that any midfielder that could play with that level of physicality and tempo could work in this Pep system. Like Kova did it for a period and then it fell off. No, I'm not. He
Sure
did it
did.
for a period and then he fell off. And that's where I'm going to, whether I understand what you're saying or not, is if the period comes where Nico G either ascends or he falls off. And that's why I'm in the middle of kind of where both of you are at in terms of your statements, because I can't figure
Kova
out.
was never alone.
And
Mila
six, is the
clarified a
thing.
lot. He's got to keep
Yeah,
playing in order
fair.
to get it. He's got to be able, like it's
We-
fair. I think all everything that's
Also,
been set.
we were
all the
all
criteria
shouting for him
fits,
to
Roger-
fair
play
take.
all of last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a reason clearly that Pep didn't do it. He was probably protecting him. And the
Yeah.
Coaches no more.
This is the play out. Yeah, I think he's going to be really good. And I think the Rodri question marks are just coming up more and more as the season goes on, whether it be a transfer out or just injury. So I don't know. If Pep thinks that this guy's going to be great and continue to improve and he just can't stop praising him in his press conferences, then I'm going to go with Pep on this one and say
valid.
that he will be that good.
No, it's fair. I think it's getting caught up on the idea of what those two players are in my head, which is totally fair.
I think, yeah, I know, but I do think he is filling a lot of the roles that Rodri was doing. And I know you bring up Kova, but I don't think Kova was filling Rodri roles. I think he was filling the space in the field.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
a
saying.
different job. I
That's
see
what
what
I'm
you're
saying. Is
saying, but
if
I do think
anybody
Nico
could
G's
have,
role is pretty similar, and he's not Rodri though, like we were saying, and he's not Caicedo, so you don't want to play him like that. But when
no,
asked to
it's
do those
difficult.
roles, he can do a suitable job with little experience and little time at the club.
Fair. Well, only time will tell with that one, but I liked the conversation because we usually don't have debates. It's usually pretty. We tend to be
I
pretty
agree.
one. I think. Yeah, with a lot of stuff. That's the first time I think in a while we've had disagreements, but it's because we're so happy. We're just such a happy group of human beings. Me, probably the happiest of them all. This is a perfect
Of
week for me.
course.
Like, I haven't. For you guys, you know that I've never had like a perfect week in my entire life of sports. It usually somebody messes it up. And this week, I got the Galaxy got to win, the Ducks got to win, and Manchester United got to win, and the biggest one of them all. So I'll jump into my 5 things
Two
here.
in a row, Dylan.
2 in a row. I'll get to that. That's point number 5, but I'll save it for that.
Spoiler.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, I had to spoil it.
Son of a bitch.
Lesson number 1. I just got Slabhead. Just the name, the man, the myth, the legend. You guys know my feelings on him and where I think the direction of the club needs to go at a certain point with Harry Maguire. But in terms of storylines, sometimes they write themselves. A guy that was written off, a guy that couldn't for the life of him play good and then got the captaincy stripped, has now had multiple big moments in big matches for Manchester United, winning games. Today, I thought yesterday, he was the man of the match for me. I thought he was great defensively, and I thought he was even better going forward. And he writes himself into United lore. Like, scoring at Anfield is writing yourself into Manchester United history, and so shout out to Slabby. 2, I have the new signing shine. Layman's or Lamens, however you pronounce it. I'm never going to get that right. One of the best performances from a goalkeeper in a United shirt in a long time. He was big. He made the big saves, and he came out when Salah had a chance to see Liverpool on and made himself big and altered the shot. That's what good goalkeepers do, is they alter shots and they make big saves. He did both. Cunha really saved us at the end of the match. I didn't think he was great in the beginning. Asked to do a different role as the 9, so to speak, but was good in what he did. And towards the end of the match, just his ball progression with his feet carrying the ball forward really saved us in moments of panic. And then Brian Mbumbo has been one of the best signings, I think, in the Premier League this season. I think the goals and assists haven't caught up, but his bald ass is one of my favorite players I think I've seen in a United shirt in a long time. I mean, he is just a phenomenal player. He does every small detail right, and the goal is perfect. For picking yourself off the ground to beating one of the best defenders in the entire world to a spot, that's world-class stuff. And United have needed world-class talent. They finally got somebody. So that's point number 2. 3, Mila's going to talk about it in a little bit, but outcoached, outclassed, outnumbered. United did all 3 of those things. And Facundo, if you're listening, I know you're very critical of Amorim and his Doesn't play midfielders. Look, buddy, we beat Liverpool 2-1 at Anfield, and your club didn't. Wanker.
Want me to go grab him?
Yeah, you might as well. No, I think Amram gets credit when you get big performances in big matches and you do things correctly, and we'll go over his tactics and what he got right. But he did outcoach Slot. And look, Amram's done this over his career. Look, he hasn't been great over totality, but in big games against big managers, he's outcoached a bunch of them. He's done it against Pep, he's done it against Slot, and he did it again. So he gets credit where credit's due. 4, Ahmad is finding form. He only came off because of a yellow. Amram admitted it, but we are a whole different team when he can be that productive off the right side. That's 2 games in a row. He's been good, and we have taken a leap in terms of what we can do going forward. I don't really have much more to say. He's just very good, and I really like Ahmad. And I'll get as much prop on this podcast as possible if we can. And then 5, I have season defining. We talked about it in the lead up. It was a big statement win. United needed to get that back-to-back wins thing off their fucking back, the away thing off their fucking back. And they just needed to alleviate some pressure. And I think there was like a 4-game slate here that if United had picked up like 6 points, I think Amram would have been fine. Getting the 3 against Liverpool right here, right now is just such a leapfrogging potential opportunity for United, especially doing it against your biggest rival, setting them to 4 straight losses and potentially screwing up their entire season. Could have been written any better. So those are my 5 things. Mila, I'm going to let you jump in here and do the tactical analysis while I guide the board a little bit in terms of what you saw and how United won the match.
What do I get to do?
I mean,
You get to also do that if you'd like.
shut up.
All right, here's what you should do.
Shut up, bitch.
Yeah, I mean, we can all talk about it. I think it was pretty self-explanatory.
I actually don't think it
United-
was to the normal person.
Oh.
Obviously, looking at the lineup, everyone was hella confused. You did call it.
Yeah, I did call it. No C.O.C. I think that put a pretty clear message to me, at least, of what he was going to do and try to take Van Dijk out the game. To be fair, I did not expect him to take Van Dijk out the game
By going to
putting
Van
him in
Dijk.
the game excessively. I joked to Grant that he was trying to give Van Dijk a concussion with the amount of headers
Yeah.
that he was doing. Just pure sky dropping long punts, like ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a headache at the end of the game. But the big part of this tactical decision was what happened after those headers. And I think it's a big reason why that you guys are saying that Liverpool had no midfield in this game is because they were non-existent in the second ball after Van Dijk won it. It wasn't a question of Van Dijk winning the ball against Mbeumo because that was the main guy pressing the ball in this.
You just back that thing up right into him.
Exactly. Just put a body on him, make it uncomfortable, make it hard for him to control where the ball is going to go, and then Cunha will pick it up. Cunha's going to drop into that space, pick up the ball. He did it 5-6 times.
And even both of the
Just Cunha.
midfielders kind of hedged it as well. They just put bodies to where Van Dijk was going to head the ball, and immediately they were just jumping on it, play quick, be direct. Yeah.
I mean,
brilliant.
Shit. First, a team to set up like that. Casemiro, Bruno, and I guess you could say Cunha's dropping in to make a midfield 3. To outwork, outmuscle, outjump the Liverpool midfield, who's pretty athletic, pretty strong. It was impressive. And I think a lot of that can come down to the tactics that the manager put out, but also just the desire. So yeah, I do think Slot got outcoached, but I think that the United players also just wanted it more. They wanted to get to those 50-50 balls after the initial header more than the Liverpool players wanted to. And I think that kind of put them on their heels.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ahmad was really good on that right-hand side. I remember early in the year, I but brought up the point of him and Mbeumo almost getting each other's way. I think the dynamics looked a lot more fluid there. I think they have definitely more of an understanding. Obviously, that comes with playing together more and more. I think C.O.C. came on and did a job. Mila was speaking his praises, singing them during the game, but you're starting to see the little things with him where he has a technical floor that is absolutely good enough to, again, when he brings the ball down, obviously he's big enough to go get it, but to be able to retain it, lay it off, move, like just those little simple things, I think he did a good job and showed a lot of that. But also Liverpool's midfield, I do feel like in possession, as soon as either Gravenberch is on the ball or he's dropping in with the center backs to come receive the ball, the other two midfielders are just dashing up to the front line. It literally felt like watching Pochettino's Chelsea. There was no midfield. So again, just such a different dynamic from last year, guys not being in roles to really be successful. And then the subs they made when they went 4-2-4, Verts and Jones in the middle. I don't know. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe it. Seeing a manager known for this control and bringing a different energy, getting rid of the rock and roll pressing and all the crazy shit from Klopp. I mean, maybe it was Klopp muscle memory. I don't know, because I'm just seeing so many holes there. It's confusing. I do think Verts looked better. The standard wasn't high given his cameos to start the season, but you're definitely seeing more of the player that he was, slowly, potentially, surely. But yeah, I mean, Ekitike, even as soon as he came on, he looked comfortable. Question why he's not in the team. Salah, again, a really bad performance. He was awful. Kirkish, again, just kind of looked lost. I mean, it was a disaster. And the worst part is they reverted to teams that they would have fielded last year. Very similar midfield, different guy up top, new left back, but a team in the mold of what they were doing last year. But this run of form comes as soon as they revert back to that old way of playing. So I don't even know anymore. It's starting to get really dicey there.
Yeah.
I mean, you would imagine Isak gets to a better standard than he's at right now, but I mean, who knows how long that takes? And by that point, Ekitike's got to play, right? Like, he's been fantastic as soon as he's put the shirt on. Some say they're good problems to have, but as soon as you hit a dry patch like this, it gets dicey, because these guys who come in for big money or used to playing a lot are going to be questioning it. Oh, we're losing and I don't get a chance. Or even Chiesa, bro, I think every time he comes on, he seems to contribute to a goal. I don't know, they're going to have to do something drastic in terms of at least team selection to get some new life into this, because these things can compile and get worse. I know you guys love harping on the slope.
Fraud.
It gets louder and louder, especially you're defending champs. You spent all this money. It's not going to go away until you start turning the results around. So,
yeah.
How do you even go about doing that? I do not know.
For me,
I'm sorry.
No. It's just, for me, they're 2-1 speed. Like, this Liverpool thing, the whole reason they were good last season was because they could play at 2 speeds. They could play at 2 tempos. They could slow down a game. They could speed it up whenever they felt like it. Trent was a big component of that. This year, it is 1 speed, and it is full throttle, full steam ahead, and they have no way of changing that. Like, their change was when they scored the goal, they didn't sub on Frimpong for Salah. That was the sub. That's not a good enough sub in terms of changing the way that you're playing. Like, if you're going to put on Frimpong, you're still going to be attacking. If you're going to put on Curtis Jones and Verts, you're going to be attacking. There was a point on the pitch where they had 8 attackers. That's never going to work. And we talked about how the early slate of games, it was like this run and gun, win at the 90th minute, and how process over results, right? And finally, the results are catching up with the process, and it's all out of whack. They put themselves in this mess, which is so confusing, because when you are a champion and you have that ability, like we've seen City do it, you add the small pieces. You don't add massive new cogs to the wheel. Like, you already have the fucking wheel, dude. Don't reinvent it. And now they're reinventing it, and that's why they're going through this sputtering mess. And I don't see it getting better before it gets worse. And if they don't start Ekitike, how does that work? How do you have a guy like that?
And it's against Frankfurt. Next game in the Champions League, or revenge game, maybe. I don't know.
Probably not going to play him. And I don't understand it either. I feel like the excuse is that, we paid a record-breaking fee for Isak. Wirtz just held bench for 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
There's no excuse to not play the guy that's playing better.
He was the only reason I got scared. He was the only reason I got scared in that game, because he was making a difference once he came on, and they refused to play.
Yeah, and to Grant's point, I don't think Wirtz played bad in that last game, but it was not $130 million worth of performance. It was this guy came through our academy, and he's getting his first couple minutes in the Premier League.
Solid sub cameo.
Just going through the motion. He went through the
Was
motions.
that not? Was
It
that
was
not a
fine.
cameo that we saw again, like Harvey Elliott put in multiple
Sure,
times last season?
exactly. It
Yeah,
wasn't bad at
exactly.
all, but it wasn't
probably could've-
mind-boggling,
Yeah, no.
game-changing stuff. No.
It doesn't fit the price tag that they paid for him. Overall, with Liverpool, I just think they're just throwing blobs at the wall at this point, trying to
There's-
see what sticks. And I think he got lucky. I said it a lot last year. I called them lucky pool all throughout the season.
You did?
I was never big on Slot. And now that we're seeing it's time to coach, it's time to manage. It's not all just laid out in front of you with step-by-step tutorial. Shit's hard. They are doing
Shit
what
is
City
hard.
did after a 4-year run of form, and they are just. I think they got way too high after the season win, and tried to, oh, we're gonna become the next dynasty. We're gonna put everything into this, and thought it would just be like that. Go, because
I
that's how
think-
City did it. That's how they, in my opinion, that's how they think. And
I
this
think
is the repercussions of
expectations
that.
changed a ton as well, right? Like last year, they knew they were
always
going
do.
into rebuild. No one saw anything coming from them, and then all of a sudden they're the champs. And now it's a completely different perspective going into it. This guy won the league in his first year. He just got a war chest of assets, dynasty time, like you said, Mila. So the expectations changing. We expected a lot more from them to start the year. They're still only 3 points off of it. But like you guys are alluding to, the eyes tell much greater of a story than, oh, they're 3 points off. They'll be fine. Just kind of go. It's been quite a start to the season for them. All the last minute winners, all the last minute losses, and we're only 8 games in. So I am intrigued. I think it starts with a big change. You got to do something in your 11. I mean, yeah, they dropped Verts already, but it might have to be number 11 because Chiesa has been putting in shifts. I mean, they hooked Salah not as soon. I think it was probably planned, but right after Maguire scored, Salah's off. It's like, well, that's not the guy you would usually take off when you're looking for a goal, but
Yeah,
that's the reality they're in right now. So that alone is like, oh, now who do we look to for a goal, right? Like, there's a lot of questions. We're gonna have to learn a lot about their squad, and it's not going to be peaches. They're not going to have time to really have these learning moments because they're the title. They won the title. They're the champs. They're the defending champs. So they don't have time. They're not going to get it. So intrigued, bro.
yeah.
They're getting thrown to the wolves. That's what it is.
I think just to end this so we can move on and talk about
Yes.
Amarim and give him some praise.
No.
I wouldn't really be too worried if I was a Liverpool fan if there was just 4 losses in a row and he was all calm and collected.
He's
But
crashing out.
he is he's
Mhm.
crashing out. He's crumbling under the pressure right now. Some of these takes in the media are crazy.
Energy's
It's not the end
different.
of the world. This season's still salvageable, but it seems
Absolutely.
like he's panicking, and it's so early that is not a good sign to me. That is,
Sure.
in my eyes, that's someone that's in way over his head and is kind of being found out right now. That could be a little bit of manifestation on my end, but
Some good
to me,
hot
just
takes,
as
Mila. I
a
love it.
viewer, it's not good.
No, it is not. But we're gonna talk good because I am the happiest man on planet fucking Earth. Dude, I was shaking. I haven't had that type of feeling since we beat
With
Lyon
the
last
Herald
year.
goal.
Where Harold scored the winner. Yeah.
You didn't even want him to
Fuck.
play.
No, I didn't. I still don't. But it was a performance and it was a shift. And honestly, like
Proper.
I was saying, you get as much credit in this game for me with Amarim as you do when you get it wrong. He made bold decisions. Not playing your striker that scored in 2 straight matches is a bold decision. Playing Harry Maguire after Euro just got a clean sheet is a big decision. But I think in this one, he went with, I'm going to go with the guys that know this game better than anybody else. And for all the stuff tactically, like Amarim is a culture setting person. And he went with the guys that have set the culture for this team. And as much as I don't like Diego Dallo, that's a player that was playing in this game
Played great.
clearly for the culture vibe because he put in some tackles and some challenges. Look, he was pretty atrocious outside of that stuff for me, but
Understood the
Defensively
occasion.
terrible, defensively
He understood the
fantastic.
occasion.
he understood the occasion, and that's what mattered in this match. So I can sing his praises for hours. I'm not going to do that. I've already done that on
Good.
all of our socials. So check out our socials. I'll let you guys kind
No.
of take it away with your thoughts.
Yeah,
mean-
I think Maguire, I think he deserves so much credit. I think he's been getting it, rightfully so. But to your point, that criticism really was a whole year plus of just him being the butt of every single joke, and to be able to turn that around in the same place where it happened. Because for a lot of people, you need to change the scenery just to get away from that, and then you can rebuild from there. To stick with it, I mean, it says a lot about his character. So I think he deserves so much credit for that. And obviously, I'm never rooting for United, but it was nice to see him get that goal. I think De Ligt too. I was definitely not sold when he came in. He proved me wrong. I'll definitely eat my words there. I think he's been fantastic. I mean, his CV. I mean, he was a captain at Ajax as a teenager. Took them to the Champions League semifinal. Goes to Juventus. Goes to Bayern. Like, he's been at all these clubs and he's leaving. So people think, oh, he's not good enough for these clubs. Circumstances in this sport are very interesting and unique. I don't think that kind of speaks the full story on him. I think he's been a huge leader in the back line for Man United. He deserves a lot of credit. Casemiro as well. I think we've brought it up a few times this season, but football's back. It has not left. He's a professional. We know what he is. Again, he's advanced in his age, definitely past his prime, but for an hour, absolutely can do a job. Bruno, I mean, this game summed him up really well. That might sound like a diss, but I don't think he had one of his better games. But in that moment, when they play a short corner and Bumo's shot's deflected, the audacity to look at that and go, I'm just going to play this back in. I mean, that's just what he is about. That's what he's all about. So I think, again, character, and then, Cunha, not a great first half. In the second half, showed so much character, the willingness to continue to try these skills and get past guys, drag United up the pitch. Kind of reminded me of, maybe it's because we watched the day before, but Njai against City. There were like at least 4 or 5 times where there's just no business for him to get out of a situation, and he just lets them breathe. I think that was really important. Mount did play. But I think it was a huge win for United. It won't change my opinion on Amram all encompassing, but I think he absolutely deserves credit on the day because, some people may say he's rotating, he doesn't deserve credit for it. I think he absolutely deserves credit for this game. I do think he went in with a deliberate approach and it worked. And the last player I'll give a shout to is Layman's. I don't think United fans should get too ahead of themselves to put that type of pressure onto a young keeper. There will be mistakes. I think we talked about it with Bob. I mean, there's mistakes with every keeper. It's just going to happen. But the standard of goalkeeping that United have had for the past few years, yes, this is a revelation. Maybe it's just because of how bad those other guys were, but I do think he can be a good keeper for them in the long run. But he's shown a ton of positive signs. Distribution, cross-claiming, simple stuff, but you just haven't seen it in a United shirt. So just that feeling of safety behind you as a defender, I think that helps them. So this can be defining for them, Dylan. I do think this is something that this is what you need to build on. It's your first time getting 2 in a row. You're getting all that shit off your back. Let's continue in the right way. Don't stop dropping levels. Stop playing down to your competition. You have enough talent. I think the front line, that Mbumo's absolutely proving his worth. I do think he hasn't gotten as many shouts for signing of the season or even in the conversation. But I mean, just that talent alone up front, we've seen what that can do in terms of chance creation. Now we're putting a few away. Yeah. Like you're saying, you got to build on that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the difference, and I'll springboard it into you, Mila, and that's where we'll wrap this one up. Is for me, United have not had a point where I could be like, well, that's the springboard. This was the springboard, or could be the springboard. And so what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't want to use the word springboard or anything like that, because I don't think it's just a 1-2 game thing.
No.
And I think this is where a lot of my credit to Amram goes. It's really hard to find any City fans that support this guy, just outside of a bias and
right.
that. So
wanting him in because we suck.
In this. Not even that though. It's not like that for me. I think you put it best in that he's a culture guy, And a lot of the stuff that he does has been evident of that for me. To stay here, to have his head down, he's just rolling with the punches right now. And as much as this was a big step forward for the system and the tactics, I think more can be said about the buy-in from the players in this game. You guys get up for big games. We've seen it before. This was different in my eyes. I think people understood their roles in this game outside of maybe Shaw positionally at times. I know Grant and I were pointing that out. But everyone knew what the fuck they would needed to do. They bought in. They said, all right, coach, we got you. We'll get it done. You just had warriors on the pitch, honestly. Cunha was getting me excited just from a enjoyer of the game. The guy was being a proper shithouse. He's getting involved in 50-50s, taking his time, wasting time. Like everything you'd want out of a player like him. And also he was ready for this challenge. So I think you guys are in the right spot in terms of players now where the mentality has shifted. And you've got the bad flowers out. The bad apples. And it looks to me that you guys can get to that point where you put in a consistent run of form and the players buy in, and then at the end of the season you reevaluate who needs to go and who needs to stay. But I don't think I necessarily would call it a springboard.
Springboard probably wasn't the right word. It's a moment in time where I think you could look back and be like, that was the turning point for United. And
Catalyst.
I don't think we haven't had a moment like that. Like the Lyon performance last year wasn't that for me. The final loss wasn't that for, like, even if we'd won that, I don't know if that would have been the moment.
You're
This
talking
feels
1
like-
through 90.
I just mean that it just feels like this could be the moment that United actually go on to turn it around. It could be, look back and go, that win at Liverpool 4 months ago was really what started this culture changing
That's fair, yeah.
thing.
You didn't
I
fluke
just
it at
think it's
Anfield.
been-
They didn't beat
Yeah.
themselves. You went and beat
That's fair.
Liverpool over a game of 90 minutes. Like maybe even just off the top of my head, the City game at the Etihad last year. You won it, but you didn't just beat the shit out of City for 90 minutes. You didn't outplay them. You scammed it, which is fine. It doesn't matter. You take them. But yeah, I think you deserve to win. So I think that maybe is why you feel that way. But it can be a catalyst, no doubt.
Positivity in the air. I'm going to throw out the 3 games just so I can have the predict counter continue to go up. So Chelsea, Sunderland. I'm assuming we all have Chelsea?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
At home, yeah.
Okay. I've got Chelsea 2-0. Scorelines?
3-1.
I'm thinking.
3-1.
No, 3-0.
3-0.
Am I taking Chelsea?
Sick. We're at home.
I know. I didn't say they're going to win. I just said, am I taking Chelsea?
Cheeky.
Yeah, I'll just go 1-0 Chelsea.
1-0 Chelsea. The next match is City versus Villa.
Where?
It is at Villa Park.
Doesn't matter.
2-1 City.
They're finding form. I just don't like that Villa side very much. I'll go Marmouche back. Yeah. No, Cherokee's back too. I'll go 3-1 City.
I'm gonna go 4-0 City.
Nice.
Bang. And then the final match is, sorry, I guess I skipped and didn't realize that City was Sunday. United play Brighton. United are at home.
3-1 Brighton.
Jesus, that would suck.
This is where Grant's gonna go wrong.
the predicky on that is a tough one. A 3-1 away from home, but I like the integrity of you to continue with that style of pick.
Oh, it's gonna happen, bro. Don't worry. It just went.
I'm concerned that United's gonna have a letdown, but I'm hoping that we get a win. So I'm gonna go 2-1 again.
Yeah, you got to. You got to call that.
1-0 United.
I'm just shocked that Mila didn't pick a Welbeck goal there, because that's happening.
I didn't say it, but in my head, at least 2 of those were Danny Welbeck's goals.
Yeah, Danny Welbeck is definitely scoring.
I really liked Lamens in the last 2 performances, so I got
He's awesome.
faith. He's also my fantasy goalkeeper, so I need him.
It helps.
Oh, conflict of interest.
Dude, what? They're not competing with us. It's not a conflict at all.
What are you talking about? We're only 2 points off you. Fuck you, dude. We'll revisit that one.
I've had a rough run of form in fantasy. I don't want to talk about it.
We won't talk about it.
Good.
All right. Well, I'm
Love
going to
it.
end it there. This is a longer one. We haven't gone this long in a while, but that's what
Didn't
happens when you
feel
get.
long, though.
This is what happens when you get 2 weeks in a row of our teams all winning. That's usually not the case.
Also,
Usually
2
someone
weeks in a row of Nottingham Forest content.
Yeah, we
Nice.
gotta stop. We gotta stop the podcast right there. That's Mila.
Next Nottingham Forest content. Their
No,
quarterfinal in the Europa League.
It's
We're
it's
doing a
their
watch
next
along if they get
No,
there.
coach.
no,
and
it
then week and a
can't
half.
happen.
Oh,
It can't happen.
You heard it here first.
All right. Well, that's Mila. Grant's below me. I'm Dylan. This has been episode 67, and we will see you guys in the next one.
2 words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent! Potentially life-changing! That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.